What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the second day of September, and here we are in this brand new month, sitting at $2.78. 7 hours and 33 minutes left in the day here. Looking like we had a bit of a wick to the upside, and we are looking like we want to resume moving down. We could move up a little bit more. It is possible. Bitcoin's actually coming down a little bit on that note here. We'll look at the short-term stuff and see what the immediate price action is, and then of course go over what I expect over the coming weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if we did make a move up to about like $2.95 or $3. It's still very possible, right? Lower high in the mix here. Maybe we go down a little bit first and then we come up. You know, it doesn't have to happen like that. And we don't have to go all the way up to $3. Maybe we stop at like 290 or 280, somewhere in between there. But you know, it kind of looks like we've got this channel coming down, lower lows, lower highs, little blemishes here and there. I didn't draw that high line the best, but you know, something that's more like maybe more like this. Little blemishes here or there. We could drop to the downside a little bit before moving higher. But let's look at the short-term stuff and then we'll figure that out. We've got all our indicators on there. That's good. Okay, so 1 hour time frame here. The RSI is bullishly postured at the moment. You do have higher lows and relatively higher highs. You kind of have like a flat top here, which I think is okay as well. Looking at the price action, it's a bit volatile on the 1 hour, but a lot of these bearish candles that we've seen so far, at least, you know, today and yesterday, they just get eaten up over the coming hours. So I wouldn't be too swayed by this. It looks a little bit bearish at the moment, but we could absolutely come back up over the coming hours. Looking at this on a 1 hour time frame, as long as we're holding higher lows in the RSI, I would remain bullish. We start getting some lower lows that could incentivize the price to move a little bit lower, right? We go from this double bottom look to just like lower highs overall and probably moving down some more, maybe a slightly lower low before we actually see the move up. I very much believe that relative to this zone here, we will see higher prices probably over the coming days or day, but maybe we do have a little bit lower to go first. Maybe we see a quick little like shakeout below this low and then we move on up. I don't expect that to be the low, though it could be. I mean, 260 to 250, that's kind of the area that we're expecting for the low to come in, if I remember correctly. The stochastics are bearish right now. The MACD is flipping red, which is a little bit bearish. Let's see, we got 31 minutes left in this 1 hour time frame, though. Let's see if it persists to the red side or if it can come back and close green. Overall, right now, I suppose all these indicators together do make me think that we're going lower, but it really does depend on how this 1 hour time frame closes. It's a shame I'm not making this video 30 minutes later, because if I was, we'd have a little bit more clarity. Just understand, if you're watching this video and the 1 hour time frame here, if XRP on the 16th hour of this day, the second day of September, if it closes red, the probability that we do go lower from here increases. If it comes back and closes green, the probability that we go higher to that $2.90 to $3 area remains intact. Okay. At this point, though, I really wouldn't be surprised if we went a little bit lower. Let's look at the 4 hours, see if there's more clarity there. This does look a little bit more bearish, honestly. It's like you're finding resistance at prior support here. That seems to be what's going on. RSI rejecting the 50. You have higher highs relatively here in the RSI, lower highs relatively here in the price. That's hidden bearish divergence. Same thing in the stochastics. Higher highs with lower highs. The MACD crossed green, but you didn't do anything. I don't know. I guess I am more bearish at the moment in the short term. But again, if this 1 hour, if this 16th hour of the day closes green, that could incentivize the price to move higher. But looking at this here from a low to a high, if we can get it. Come on now, low to high here. Yeah, go down to 267, man. Do that. Go down to 267 today or tomorrow, and then come back up the next day, maybe going into the end of the week, go back up to like 290 to 298, $3, something like that. And then over the weekend or sometime next week, we'll continue to drop down lower, ultimately hitting our low target of 260 to 250, somewhere in that zone there, maybe 245 at the absolute worst. And that should be sometime within a week from the 16th and the 17th, right? We're thinking like from the 11th and onward, we should have our low. And maybe it's slower than this. Maybe it takes longer time. And if it does, you know, maybe some drops here and there, some pumps here and there, whatever, but maybe it does take a little bit of a longer time. And that FOMC meeting is on, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Is it next week? No, I guess it technically be 2 weeks from now. Yeah. It's on the 16th and 17th there. So I would expect that we have our low within the week of the FOMC meeting, if not on the days of the FOMC meeting. We'll have our low, and then we will continue to rise and rally afterwards. So we've got a little bit of a continuation of this overall downward path that we're on right now, right? That's kind of the expectation at the moment. Looking at these indicators, RSI makes me think we're going down. Yeah, the MACD, while it is green, it's nice to see, but it's not doing anything. That's kind of bearish. If you get a good thing to happen, but no good things happen on the price, that means you're probably going to go down. Because whenever the bad thing happens, whenever you cross red, you are making strides lower. You're getting lower lows each time, and you're starting to decay in bullish momentum here. It is the beginning of this 4-hour candle. It is the, we're halfway through the 1-hour candle as well. Let's wait and see how this goes over the next 3 hours and 28 minutes. But if I'm reading this right, I would think that we move lower. A little bit lower first. I still am holding out for the idea that before we find our ultimate low, we will see another try to that $3 area, probably reject it, and then come back down, though. I'm kind of expecting something like that to happen. Overall, XRP is just going to be boring. I expect the price action to be kind of tame, let's say, tame and volatile at a very mild effect of volatility. We're going to be very slow and low over the coming, what would it be now, 14 days? Yeah, probably over the next 2 weeks, if not a little bit less time, probably. But after that, we'll start to grow. We will see the price rally into October, into the end of September. We should see the price rally, and going into October, things should be pretty feisty. From a high to a low here. Yeah, look at that. The golden ratio is right there at 255. It makes all the sense in the world. That's where we would go to find support. Whenever we start getting weeks to close above $3.12 again, that's whenever it's time to get excited that we are taking out new all-time highs. But until then, I'm maintaining this bearish posturing. I guess until we hit this low, I'm maintaining that bearish posturing, or until we close a week above $3.12, I'm maintaining it as well. So after that, we will see some eruptive price action take place. Would it surprise me the least if by the end of September we were at new all-time highs? Prices well above $4. If it's not by the end of September, certainly in October, and going into October, maybe even into November, we will be seeing the price rally all the way up to anything from 1130 to 1637. I'm leaning more toward this 1380 to 1637 area personally. That's my thoughts. And again, as far as when that happens, I'm thinking it'll happen by the end of October, just knowing how XRP likes to move. It moves very fast whenever it moves up, but if it takes until the end of the year, I think that's fine, right? We're off by a couple months extra, whatever, right? We're off by more than a couple months. We've been waiting for these targets for quite a long time. I thought that this move was it here, and we'd start to move up, because that's whenever XRP moves, man. It likes to move at a very fast pace. It consolidates, it's boring, but when it moves up, it moves at a very fast pace, and we got a kind of half move here. So I think we're going to continue. I think this will persist, but as far as when or how long it takes to get to these fabled targets of $13 to $16, I would say it could be as early as the end of October. It could be as late as the end of the year, but we're going to make it there one way or another. First, we have a little bit more chop to go. I don't expect that this week's going to be exciting, and I don't expect that next week will be too exciting either. It's probably going to be 2 weeks of very, very kind of stagnant and boring price action. We'll see various altcoins popping off and doing their thing. They're probably going to grow like 20% in a day, 50% in a day, 100% over 3 days, right? We're going to see various altcoins steal the spotlight here and there over the next couple of weeks. Don't get distracted with those. Just hold your coins, hold your XRPs, okay? Because if you go chasing pumps, you're probably going to get burned, right? It's not a good thing to chase pumps in this kind of environment right now. Just hold your coins, buy more if anything, right? Buy more XRP or buy various coins. There's nothing wrong with allocating into the markets. We are at a relative low point right now, but I don't think that we should be making any plays as far as like swapping coins for other coins. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that's just my thoughts. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye bye.